So that's just one huge area that is a lot of company are investing money and going into, just like big brands like H&M, Gap. It's very moving into that area. And finally, and that's in that big area, is the wearable part, where like combining Fitbit kind of technology and wearable experience with the clothing, day-to-day clothing we wear. That it's growing, but it's there's still a lot of hurdles there, because washing is not a big thing, but it's more like, okay, I'm not gonna wear this high-tech T-shirt every day because I need to change it, right? So that's one thing. And how do you make this shirt cool, and then you can hide all this technology in there? That's another thing. So that's still a lot of area to grow, and a lot of issues we have to tackle. But one thing that I can really see that I can be very useful is merging these wearable technology with healthcare, where you can make some, like I've seen some people trying to make some shirt or something that it's not a medical hospital-like shirt, but that has function that will check your heart rate for patients like that. So those things have real function. It solves problems, and it looks nice on people. It doesn't look like something like from the hospital, because we don't want that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's merging there. I can see that part is growing, and it's gonna be really interesting to see what new people coming up with. Yeah, and I see a lot of Chinese startups are doing that too, making some like high-tech sports shirts, sport T-shirts, some heated jackets where it will keep you warm without wearing like layers and layers of clothing and things like that, or for like some extreme environment for maybe some workers and so on. So yeah, that's a lot of things going on. We can talk like a whole hour about that. About this technology innovation part, about how fashion is going towards that. Even manufacturing side, we see companies come with sewing machines that are that can sew on its own, like the Soba, like the Chinese companies that are merging sewing machines with like these embroidery machines, so that they can kind of sew on its own without like the actual workers like pushing and feeding the fabrics on its own. So that's a lot of innovations on that side too. Yeah.
Wow,
there's just a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always fascinated by the new technology that's coming out and how people are integrating it into different fields, and I find it really fascinating about how fashion is doing that. Do you think that with the new technologies coming out, like manufacturing, that will change up the landscape of maybe where China has a hold in the fashion industry? Because a lot of companies go to China because it's more inexpensive than having something, let's say, made in the States. But if now things are 3D printed, or if there's machines doing it, and basically like the human factor is out, and they're just setting up these factories of machines that do this, will that change the manufacturing landscape? What China has the winning formula on right now?
That's an interesting question. I think China has two things before going on for them. One was the cheap labor, and the other was the huge supply chain. Now the cheap labor is kind of gone, but the supply chain is even better. The whole textile industry chain, you just can find all kinds of materials and everything from China. I mean, there's some really special ones you may have to find it in Europe or something, but 90% of the things you can find in China, and that they don't really produce in other places, because we have been investing in these mills, fibers, technologies, fabrics development for the past, 20, 30, 40 years. So it's a lot of expertise, a lot of materials, a lot of things there, where other places, if they want to replicate that, it would take quite some time.
Okay.
So with the 3D printing and all this, I think definitely localization will have a big part. There'll be more localization. All you need to maybe is importing some yarns from China and then put it in your shop in Boston, and then you can start customizing sweaters and jackets for your clients, for customers walking in. But China will still play parts of it because maybe the yarn is from China, maybe the machine will be made in China. So they need not necessarily the incomplete garment will be made in China down the road, but China will still play a big part of it.
Okay.
In terms of the material and so on. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Well, that's good to know. It's interesting to see again how that evolves, and it's great that China has already, I guess, kind of maybe foreseen that and then started investing in other technologies and other areas so that they will keep being on top of that.
Yeah, they throw a lot of money into trying to innovate and so on, and localization will happen whether you like it or not. So really, we can just walk into a shop someday with just like customized T-shirt just made on the spot or something. That can totally happen. That will totally happen. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just the percentage of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because we're seeing a lot of that. Like I said, we're seeing a lot of that right now. It's just it like with the sunglass company I was working for. You could technically walk into a shop and get sunglasses made. It's just right now the turnaround time I think is a few weeks, but yeah, with when costs start coming down a little bit, and then them actually figuring out a couple other things, the turnaround time could be a couple of hours eventually. So yeah, I could definitely see that happening in a lot of other industries and venues, and I'm really excited about where that's going.
Yeah, and I was recently at a EO event, and then they talk about supply chain. They talk about it's like now instead of building the parts and then ship it to the other place, it's 3D printing the parts while it is on the way to your client's factory or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he was saying is that like companies, they're trying to do is like maybe working with UPS and these companies is that 3D printing, having 3D printing machines in the truck or that plane or whatever, and then printing it while it is shipping it to the destination. So it's really just in time. Yeah, just in time. So yeah, that's just amazing. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's great. In your own life, with everything that you work on and do, do you have rituals or maybe apps or something that you do every single day that help you focus your time and energy to make sure that you are able to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish?
My email account, because I subscribe to a lot of newsletters, so reading these newsletters, going through them, and another thing, big thing, WeChat. Yeah. WeChat is part of everyone's daily life in China, so we can do everything there on that platform, just one single platform. I talk to my clients, customers, suppliers, my colleagues, and we just work through that. It's very important communicating tool. In fact, less and less people in China use email now. Can just do everything on WeChat. Yeah.
Oh, really? So I have a WeChat account because I started it because of the company I was working for, and yeah, I didn't really realize because there's not, I guess, really an equivalent in the States, but just how like everything is really on that platform.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Just everyone's on WeChat. Like my suppliers will give me a quote on through WeChat instead of email. It's just too much work just to fire up your email account, type this, and then click send. It's just too much work. Yeah, just do it on WeChat. Yeah.
Right. It makes things so much easier.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you say is the best advice you've ever received?
I think the best one is from my dad, because my dad is he's not around anymore, but when I was little, he always taught me about, go learn new things, just be curious and have that thirst of learning, that thing. I think that really drives me, because I'm a curious person. I like to read about these technology, new things, and so on. I love reading like Singularity Hub, those articles on there. I was just like, wow, so fascinating. His advice of always learning new things, always encourage me to go to like fairs and meet different people from different industries, really shapes me, because it makes me a more curious person, and always kind of want to learn more new things and stay ahead, I think. Yeah, that's great. I always tell people that too. Just have that thirst of learning, and you can always learn something from someone. Yeah.
Are there particular books or blogs that you look at nowadays that you think are really beneficial to find out what's happening with either technology or the changes in fashion, or just helping you learn as an entrepreneur?
Singularity Hub is a good one. It's really forward trends. SingularityHub.com. So I go there a lot. I subscribe to their newsletter, read their things. Glossy is a good site where they talk about fashion, innovation, technology, retail, and things like that. So another one is innovations in textiles. I'm not sure. I think it's innovationsintextile.com. That one is good too. Has a talk about new innovation materials. It's very hardcore industry thing, so normal people won't understand what is this fiber, what is this machine do. But it's very industry things. But it's good. It's good resources there. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Vincent, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. If the listeners would like to read more about what you're working on or contact you, what's the best way they can do that?
They can email me at Vincent at thefashionknowledgenetwork.com. Just Vincent, my name, Vincent, at thefashionknowledgenetwork.com. One word. Yeah, the Fashion Knowledge Network. Yeah.
Oh, great. I'll put that in the I'll put that in the show notes so that people can just click through and do it. But thank you so much for making that available. That's great.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun. Yeah.
Of course.
Awesome.
Again, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Advance Your Art podcast. If you like this episode, please go into iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. And while you're there, hit the subscribe button so that every single time I release a new episode, it will go directly to you without even thinking about it. If you're interested in hearing older episodes, please go to advanceyourart.com, where you can find the catalog of everything I've done so far, as well as contact information and projects I'm working on. Thank you again, and have a great day.